As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Good evening, professional colleagues, friends of chartered accountants, students, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you to another edition of ICAN on Air, powered by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, an institute that prides itself with integrity and accuracy. And we have a special edition for our listeners and our viewers. Today, Thursday, the 28th July of the year 2022. And it's about leadership nuggets. We've had several topics, but we have this special edition which the board has actually put together to bring people who were found successful in their leadership role always. And I'll be guesting today an accomplished leader, a seasoned professional who has actually driven the course of an organization and has exited successfully. No other person than Mr. Henry Egbike, FCA. And briefly, I need to highlight who Mr. Henry Egbike is, and a graduate of accountancy and a master degree holder in international business, a chartered accountant who is a fellow of our great institute. He joined EY, Ernst & Young, in 1987. I was appointed audit partner in 1997. In 2005, he was appointed the country managing partner and chief executive of EY Nigeria and became the regional managing partner and chief executive of EY West Africa in 2007. In his role, he had executive responsibility for EY. He retired from EY in June 2020. And while he served at EY, he was a member of the EY Global Practice Council from 2005 to 2008. Also, EY African Leadership Board from 2005 to 2020. He was honored by ICAN with a Merit Award in the membership category for his contribution to the development of accountancy profession. He has attended many executive committee courses, including Harvard and so many other organizations. Currently serves as the board, member of the board of S Insurance Limited, as independent director and chairman of board audit, governance and compliance committee, and Polyfilm Packaging Nigeria Limited as independent auditor. Currently running his PhD research student and Pan African University in Lagos. He's married and blessed with children. That is my guest for today. And in no distance time, I will be welcoming him on board. But before we proceed, let me quickly go on a very short break as I bring back the guest for today, talking to us on leadership nugget. Get your pen ready. Stay glued even to the system as I join you back shortly. I'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the Thursday edition of ICAN on Air. And like I did in my intro, I have with me today an accomplished leader in person of Mr. Henry Egbeki, FCA. Mr. Henry Egbeki, good evening and welcome on the show.
Good evening, Sesson, and good evening, members of the audience.
Thank you very much. The board has actually put this together so that we can have people like you come around, share with us experience that move around leadership. And I'll be starting this segment by bringing this for you to educate our viewers. Sir, what is leadership, and who qualifies to be called a leader?
Thank you, Sesson. Defining leadership really is it's a tough one. I mean, if you read the leadership textbooks, I think there are almost about more than 80,000 textbooks on leadership. And if I remember, at the last count, you had almost more than 850,000 definitions of leadership. But I know, coming to this session, I know this is not a lecture on theory. I think it's based. You want me to share more of my experience on leadership, but I will attempt to define, in my own view, what is leadership. So leadership, according to John Maxwell, it said leadership is all about influence, no more, no less. But it's so simplistic. So if it's about influence to do what? And I would say leadership is about the ability to influence the team to achieve the strategic goals of the organization, both financial and non-financial. So leadership is about achieving an outcome. So the influence that you exert as a leader is to be able to galvanize and mobilize and move your people in the same direction, ensuring that they all get to the destination. That destination being your vision, your goal, and the objective that you want to achieve. And who can be a leader? I think anybody can be a leader. And I can say that I say that with my own experience. When I became the leader of EY in 2005, I was never prepared for that role. There are some circumstances in the firm, and came into the office in the morning. By the time I left in the evening, I was the leader. So I wasn't prepared for that role. So to some extent, I can say anybody can be a leader. But in the course of in the course of carrying that role, I also recognize there are certain attributes that a leader will need to imbibe to be successful. I don't know if you want me to go into that now, or maybe I step back and just pause here and take your next question.
Well, I will still come back to that, but I love the simple way of you just giving us the definition of leadership and some of those things. While we proceed, you'll definitely give us some of those attributes of who a leader should be. But I just like that word influence, influence, influence. How you are able to positively influence your team to achieve the goal. But while you were talking, you gave an instances that you were never prepared. You got to the office one day and you saw yourself becoming a leader. And it takes me to this particular one that says there are two particular school of thought. They are very strong about it. Some will tell you that leaders are born, while others will tell you that leaders are made. As a leadership guru, please tell us which school of thought is right and why is that particular one right?
Yes, again, I speak from my experience, which I alluded to earlier. I think leaders are made, and leadership can be learned. So you
Okay.
can develop into a good leader. So to that extent, I would say leaders can be made, leaders can be developed. And I think is one of the hallmarks of a successful leader is actually how you have been able to develop other leaders, how you are able to replicate great leaders within the organization. And as I always say, the hallmark of a leadership is the quality of the succession. So, and that succession talks about the talent pool, the leadership talent team that you have been able to develop while in that organization. So leadership can be learned. People can be developed into great leaders.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So you have the school of thought that says leadership are made, and using your practical example, uh, you can only know a leader by the good succession plan that he is able to bring to bear. I'll proceed with this by saying, is it possible to truly identify candidates who might end up to be a genuine and successful leader during the interview process? I'm talking at the entry level. Is it very much possible you discover someone say, this one definitely will be heading this organization? If yes, how? If not, why not, sir?
I think, yeah, it's not you can identify leaders as they go through as they grow through the ranks and file in the organization. But it's quite, I think I will say that it's not easy to just identify a candidate as he comes into the organization and maybe at the most junior level. That would be too basic. So, but as you bring in, if I use, I ran a practicing firm, a consulting firm, an advisory firm, and I would say, if by the time you bring in trainees, for instance, is it easy at that point to just say this is like to grow to a leader? No. But as they develop through the rounds, you begin to see their strengths, you begin to see their weaknesses, you begin to see their character, you begin to see the attributes, that can make them great leaders. And then you identify them because in your performance management system, that throws out every year. You begin to, as you conclude that every year, the performance evaluation, the assessment, you begin to look at those attributes, those high flyers, not just in terms of financial performance or financial metrics, also in the area of values, quality performance and all that. So as I've always said, character is important. Personal character is important. It's necessary for being a good and successful for being an effective leader, but it's not sufficient. Character alone is not sufficient. You also need competence. You need technical competence. But even if you have the technical competence, if you don't have character, you can't be a good leader. So I understand. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Very
Personal
well, very well.
Very necessary, but it's not sufficient. You need to have personal character and also be competent. But if you are competent without character, you cannot be an effective leader. So as they go through the rank and file, you begin to identify, members of the team who have those attributes to become great leaders, and you begin to invest in them. You begin to develop them, and ultimately, many of them turn out to be good leaders.
Very great one. Very great one. Character, strength. You develop the weakness and identify the weakness, and then start conducting performance evaluation. That leads me that you've been able to touch on some of the attributes. And before I go to my next question, let me give you that opportunity. Give us the major attributes that you feel a good leader must possess.
Yeah, I think I touched on it briefly, but I can digress.
At least that, yeah.
So personal character is important. I always tell CEOs when they are appointed and they come for me to talk to them, to offer my advice. I always tell them what they look out for when building a team around them. Character is number one. It's easier to get technical quality, competence, brilliance. Is easier to get them than to get people with character. So you look out for people with character, people who are driven by values, values of integrity, values of honesty, authenticity, people who are authentic, authenticity, people who are fair-minded. So these are very good attributes. These are critical attributes for successful leadership. A leader has to be able to create a level playing ground for the team. An effective leader should be fair to every member of the team. That is the way you build trust. A leader needs to build trust. And to build trust, you need to be authentic. You need to be fair-minded. You need to have emotional intelligence. And as I said earlier, transparency, being transparent, being able to communicate and engage with your team. These are very vital attributes a leader needs to be able to succeed. It's very important that you build team coherence. Your team needs to trust you. You need to be predictable as a leader. When a leader is not predictable, that just means that the leader cannot be trusted. And trust is about, the interactions that people, have had with you over time, consistently. So when that interaction, from that interaction, they will know whether your intentions, your words, and your actions are aligned. And that is when people begin to trust you. It doesn't mean they get the yes answer all the time. Many times people come into my room, you wanted one thing or the other, but I'm able to step back to say, sorry, I can't do this, and this is the reason why I can't do it. Because as I always tell them, if I can't say yes to the next person that walks through the door, asking for the same thing, then I must say no to you now. Because if I say yes to you and the next person walks across and I say no, then I'm unfair to that person. I cannot afford as a leader to be unfair to anybody. So they all knew that even if they don't get the right answer, but they know that I'm fair to all of them, that I'm not going to say yes to the next person that comes. That builds trust. So they know where you stand. Those are attributes that are very, very important for a leader to build consensus in his team. And that consensus, that team consensus, that loyalty, that trust is important because a leader cannot succeed alone. When you create a vision, you need to co-develop it with the team. The team needs to buy into it. You need to of course, you provide the leader comes with the ideas, but not you don't come as a headmaster. So you don't come to the team as a headmaster, and it's most important because when you lead a firm of professionals, these are people who are very intelligent, very bright. Actually, you're actually first among equals. You'll be deceiving yourself if you think that you are the leader
You're
because you are the most
exceptional.
brilliant. You just be deceiving yourself. You must have the humility to understand that you are just first among equals. So you must provide that opportunity for people to bring their ideas. You must be open, and you must have the ability to listen to people. So it's not about just listening to what they say, it's about how they also say it. You listen to, as you listen, you must pick out how are they saying what they are saying. The body language is important. Sometimes the body language is actually louder than what they are saying. You
Than the
miss a
aura.
lot if you're not looking at the body language. And it's important that the people also understand that you are listening to what they are saying. It's not about, hearing is different from listening.
Yes, sir.
And because you deal with people who are smart, who are intelligent, even the younger people that will recruit these days are more intelligent even than us. So they pick things very easily. So you've got to be very careful so that you actually you present they see you as actually listening to them. And not just listening, you play it back to them as well, what you have heard. And in playing back, you can use different approaches, depending on what
Approaches.
you want to
Yeah.
achieve.
Yeah.
So you can actually repeat exactly what they are saying, so they know that you actually heard what they are saying. Or you can
Very
summarize it and paraphrase it. So when you are summarizing, but what is important is that in playing it back to them, you also agree on what is doable and what is not doable. So that's also being authentic with them. So you don't go away feeling that, oh, he had us, he's going to do all this. You must have the courage to say, guys, I've heard you, this is what you said, but this is what we can do, this is what we cannot do. And then you make sure that you track those action points and you constantly come back to them, engage them, and they track, how you are, taking off those action points. So these are some of the attributes I think that have helped me. If I step back and reflect my journey, they've really helped me. My people, they trusted me. They knew what I could do, what I could not do. Even when I made the importance of that, as I saw it, is that when you make mistake, they know that it's mistake of the head, not of the heart, and it's easy for them to forgive you.
Oh, very, very brilliant submission. And that's why we said this is a special edition where we need practical experience, practical, things of how people have actually achieved. And for me, that is still in the learning process. A lot. You mentioned personal character, being fair to all the team. You should be able to build trust as a leader, have that emotional intelligence, have the listening skill, check out the body language and be able to recap some of the things that they have done. Then that agreeable skill for you to say, okay, this is what is going to be, this is what is not going to be. And I can see the reason why all through your years you were able to succeed, and that has earned you a lot, a lot. Like I keep saying, this is an interactive session, and I want our listeners, our viewers, to please throw in their questions. Our leader is here this evening. You've heard it. We are all leaders, and we can just do it. It's about what we have within ourselves. So while I await the question from my audience, I've seen somebody, Dr. Akiode, telling us. I'm sure from what you said, he's able to recap to say leadership is everything. But I want to go this route by saying we hear the word leadership and management. Are they one the same thing? Please educate us, sir.
Yeah, we hear that all the time. Is leadership different from management? Yes, there's a different. Leadership is about leading the business. Management is more tactical uh, than leadership. Leadership is about strategy. Leadership about setting the direction. Leadership about setting the control. If I just cascade that down to specific, management will be more about looking at the day-to-day issue. That's why most times when you have a CEO, you appoint a COO. So the COO I mean, that's the mindset that the CEO is the leader, should lead the business, should think more about strategic issues, How do you, drive growth of the business? What is happening in the competitor space? How do you introduce new solutions? Those are the things that should bug the CEO's mind, who is the leader. The management part of it, the day-to-day, management, performance evaluation, I use cash management, all those kind of stuff. Those will be pushed to the CEO, for instance. So I'm using CEO and the CEO job, for instance, as a way of proving, as a way of explaining
distincting the two.
leadership and management. So leadership is more strategic. Leadership is about innovation, creativity, look at the long term, reviewing the market dynamics, what needs to change, innovation, disruption. So those are the things, regulation as well. So what's happening in the regulation, in the regulator space, brand management, reputation. So see, the leader focuses more on that. Leader is also the visionary. Leader is the one that is a visionary. He's the one that is thinking, what is the next what's the next thing in the horizon that I need to push. And most times when I was when we're at the early stage, when we're trying to step up and drive growth in AY, I always, sometimes ideas come to me when I'm in the bathroom, and I step out, I note it down, and I come to the office and call my partner and say, I just had a brainwave last night. So can we talk about it? And we brainstorm about it. Oh, this is a great idea, and then we end up, developing the strategy to achieve it. So that's what the leader is thinking more of, those growth strategies, the big issue, the big picture.
The big one.
That's what should consume the time of the leader. Business development, for instance, be in the market, walking the corridors of market, of business leaders in the market. Those are the things that should consume the attention of the manager, knowing that the growth of the business is not it's not when you sit in the office. The growth of the business is the external focus, market focus. That's where the leader should be. So
very brilliant.
I'm using this specific to just distinguish
to
my
be able to
understanding.
distinct it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think you are able to drive it down, sir. You're able to drive it down. Leadership is more strategic, innovative, creative. Since more of the regulations, he is the visionary. Talk about the growth is there. But when you come to the side of management, that's more tactical and looking at day-to-day running of the organization. I have a question projected to be from Rashid. And he is saying, there's a saying that goes, a leader is ability to influence, just like you said from your definition, influence others to do the things while others do the same. How true is the statement? I know you alluded to this at the beginning, but I think we need to put more explanation for Bauer to have understanding of that.
He's saying there is a saying that says a leader is ability to influence others to do the right thing. Why do the same? Why? I don't understand what.
Why do the same? He influenced others, and at the same time,
oh right. Now understand it. Yes. So a leader must lead from the front. So you cannot have the moral authority to lead people if you cannot lead yourself. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. So you must be seen to be doing the right thing for you to be able to influence others to do it. There's a theory about learning, social learning theory by Bruno Atreveno, 1985. He said people acquire knowledge, through observation, through watching others, and through role modeling. So if a leader is not role modeling what he says, then he cannot influence others to follow. As I said, what you do sometimes is louder than what you say. So if there's no alignment between what you say and what you do, people will disconnect very, very quickly. They see through it very quickly. So a leader, the ability to influence others, is hinged on his ability to do the right thing. That is when you can get others to follow. So you must have that you must be values driven, for instance, because before you can influence others to also be values driven. If a leader doesn't have integrity, how can he influence others to have integrity, to behave with integrity? If a leader is not honest, how can you ask your team to be honest? In fact,
there seems to be a little glitch. I don't know. Mr. Rebeki, are you still there, sir? Are you still there, sir? Okay. There seems to be a little glitch even from the audio. On this note, like I said, I've been guesting Mr. Henry Gbeki, and he's been giving us some leadership nugget, talking about some of what leadership is all about, what are the attributes of a good leader, and what is expected to be. So, without wasting time, while I reconnect with our guest for today, let me quickly go on a very short break. And by the time I come back, we will enrich you the more with some of the things that is expected of you as a leader, even for the younger generation that will be coming up. So please stay tuned. I will be right back, even with our guests. Let me go on a short break.
As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Welcome back, Mr. Henry and Vicky, and we've been having a very quality and wonderful time sharing your experience. And I want to believe the younger generation, people in my class, they are already learning some of the things that we need to have. But let me take you up on this question. We have had and seen cases where some people, staff, they perform creditably as sectional head or even departmental head in finance, in accounts, in engineering, procurement, name the department, outstanding person. But they will feel woefully when they are promoted or elevated to be leaders of the organization as CEO. Can you please educate us? What are some of the reasons for this failure and underperformance?
Thank you, Seton. And I think I spoke briefly about that earlier. That personal character, which are some of the attributes I've talked about, they are very necessary for success in leadership. For you to be an effective leader, you need to have those attributes. So if an organization focuses on just technical excellence, technical performance, brilliance, and then move people to become leaders, sometimes they fail because you can't give what you don't have. So if an organization must focus on that, personal character, those attributes, and because the character is the most difficult to actually change. So if they don't have it and you promote people into that role thinking they will change, it's always difficult. So if it's easier to intervene with development, learning and all that in the area of technical expertise, for instance. So there are weaknesses there. You can have courses. But in terms of character, that's very, very difficult. It's like the culture of an organization. So is the most difficult to change. Do some people make the turn? Yes, but many people don't make that turn. If you just step back and reflect on most organizations that have failed. Now, recently we're looking at what's the relationship between leadership and corporate failure. In spite of all the robust codes that we have churned out over the years, why are companies still failing? It's leadership. And when you say leadership, it's not because those are not brilliant leaders. It's not. It's based on character. Most of the frauds, that massive failure that we have seen, is character. Leadership failure is about character. So I think many organizations, some organizations, not many, let me be fair to them, probably they're easily deceived by just looking at the technical brilliance, delivery, performance, the guys bringing in all the highest number in terms of revenue, and you move that person along, thinking that when he gets there, he can imbibe the other attributes. Most times, it's always a failure. So it doesn't work. That is my own experience, and I think when you're looking for leaders, those personal attributes are very, very critical. That you take them into consideration in appointing people to leadership positions, because power is as they say, power intoxicates. If you have a leader who the boss stops at his table, as I said earlier, if he cannot lead himself, then it will be a disaster. And that leading yourself means the discipline to control yourself. That discipline to control yourself, not everybody has it.
Very, 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 very quality way to say it. Personal character is very, 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 very fundamental. It's very, 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 very key. And that is why we've seen some failure. We've seen the practical example of some of these things, even in the public space, talking about allegedly misappropriation of fund. And I think we can allude to your submission to say you can be technically sound, but if the personal quality is off it, then you are not getting anything. Sir, as professional and chartered accountants, we are also interested in good governance and how Nigeria should be led. Since Nigeria returned to democratic governance in 1999, we have seen and experienced good politicians, but many of them have failed us at all distractors, talking of the federal, the state, and the local government. What is your general assessment? And because we have the younger generation very much present here, what will be your advice in the recruitment process of the politician or the political leaders in Nigeria as a leadership guru?
So I think you are drawing me to a very difficult area.
No, we have to balance it because
I don't have experience in politics.
It doesn't matter, but we bring to bear some of the fulfillment and achievement.
But I can tell you, I mean, what it goes down to what I'll be talking about. We are not demanding some things. Look at the current candidate that we have. Nigerians don't look at ideologies. Even look at the primary of some of the parties. If you look at in terms of manifesto, in terms of speeches, I'm sure it's not the best, the one with the best ideas that get nominated. So even when it then comes to campaign, people are not look about what they can do. It's about what they can get. So until we begin to look for people with ideology, the right ideology, with the right focus, people who are accountable, and the followers too, we need to make them accountable. We are not going to get anything good from our politicians. They found a way of getting there, sometimes even without our vote. But I think the system is changing. I think the system is becoming much more transparent. There's the use of money to induce voters to vote for them. All that we need to deal with. Voters, voters awareness. You have to carry out an awareness campaign, but somebody needs to fund that. There has to be volunteer groups to fund this thing. Even us as professionals, we need to get in there. But many of us are scared of getting in there because we say, oh, the place is dirty. We don't want to get there. But at the end of the day, the people who are in the dirty places make all the rules, all the policies for us. And we get consumed in the process. And we sit on the sideline complaining that things are not working. We need to get in there. We need to come together, even professional groups, starting even from the local, community, local constituency. How many of us even know the local government chairman of our local government, for instance, the chairman of our local government? Not many of us. Not many of us bother. So until we begin to take this seriously and begin to interrogate these people, begin to show interest in those that govern us, and I think we have the numbers. It's just that we are not coordinated. We are not. Some of us who have the means of empowering others, we are not doing that. We are just sitting in our comfort zone, and we're happy, or we complain. Not that we're happy, we complain, but we are sitting in our comfort zone until we begin to elect people with the right values, into our political offices. We're not going to make any headway. We need to have leaders who are values driven, leaders who will do the right thing for the right reasons. That is only when we begin to see a turn in the fortune of our country. Nigeria is a rich country, but Nigerians are poor. It's a paradox. How do you explain it? So how can a country that is so rich and yet people are so poor? It talks to the values. We don't have values-driven leaders. But we need to ensure that we are creating that awareness in our people so that we begin to make our leaders accountable. And now we have an opportunity to make a change. Let's ensure that we are supporting people who will bring that change, who will do the right things for us, who will create the right environment for us, who will invest in infrastructure, who will invest and make sure that there's security. So those are the things we need to do. But it comes back to us because the quality of, it's not just about the leader, it's also about the quality of those that are being led, the followers.
Very wonderful submission. You said you are not a politician, but I mentioned to you that the attribute embedded in you will definitely give direction for we, the younger ones, at least to have understanding. And you just nail it. As followers, most of the time, it's about what we get, not what the leaders can offer to us. And we find it difficult to hold our leaders accountable. The transparency, fine, you alluded to it that it's coming gradually. But there is one missing thing which I actually give to you from your submission. Value. Value. You even said it in another word by saying majority are not disciplined. So I think the younger ones who are very much present here will take home that word. As you're about to influence, you need the area of value, add value to things, and be disciplined in all that you do. Let me take you on this, Mr. Igbeki. We have seen and heard of organizations that are doing well while they are small, but rapidly they collapse after attending the level of big corporations or conglomerates. As a leadership expert, what do you think are likely reasons for some of these corporate tragedies?
Yeah, thank you. There are many reasons that could account for that. First of all, as you grow, if you don't invest in capacity, then you have a gap. So as we're growing in EY, our key focus was ensuring that we continue to to invest in capacity. And that comes at a cost. So sometimes most organizations, they're looking at the short-term profitability. As I always explain to my people then, it's like a hockey stick approach. When you are investing, the short-term profitability will surely drop. But the people must have the partners or the stakeholders or the shareholders must have the appetite to understand that as you make that investment, the profitability will drop. But in short term, it's going to come back. When you make that investment, it then comes back and the profitability starts coming. That is one. So capacity issue. And the second problem or challenge is that as you grow, you also, if you're not careful, you lose touch in tracking the quality of people that come into the organization. So, for instance, when we started, because of the kind of the vision we had, not just financial, even in terms of people, the quality, you know. So we made sure that at certain level, I think as junior, as senior, then they have to come to me. I have to do the final interview before they're employed. Because what was I looking at? Looking at the culture, the values, making sure that those are aligned, that the people we employ will actually not cause any distortion, that they actually align with our values. But as we expanded, there was no way I could do that. We had to leave the bar. Probably had to start from senior manager. Even then was a struggle, you know, because we grew from 70 people when I took over to, by the time I left, we're close to 800 people. So there was no way at a certain point that I could do that. So what that means, there was a gap for some people to have come in that are really not who don't live the values that you that, and it's possible for those people to slip through the cracks and then get to leadership positions, and then you have this kind of organizational failures. The third point will be about not moving with the times. If you remember when Kodak was acquired by Microsoft, the CEO, when he was talking to his people, the valedictory speech, he was telling his people that we did nothing wrong, but yet we lost. So if we did nothing wrong, you don't have to do anything wrong in this in this new business environment to fail. If you're not moving with the times, if you're not disrupting your business, if you're not innovative, if you are not creative, if you're not recognizing, if you're still believing in the old strategy, because the strategy that took you to a certain level will not be fit for purpose anymore as you grow. If you're not refining that, you're not refreshing that, you're not focusing on those things, it could lead to failure. So let me pause there.
Thank you very much, sir. You just nail it by telling us that we need to have the capacity investment, move with the trend of things, and be able to monitor activity. But I'm going to pick this question because it's very germane and very fundamental to this special edition that we are having today. We have observed in recent time the unfortunate trend of how the present youthful generation are seeking for wealth through any possible means without considering the possible implication of the various sources of achieving this wealth. As a leader, as a great mentor, can you please speak to the youth generation, chartered accountant connected here with us, professional who are here, those things that is required of them to drive them in the area of value when seeking wealth with integrity?
I think it's important that we recognize that the society has failed the youth. We recognize that. But we also need to inspire the youth to do the right things. I will say in this pervading culture of youth, thinking that you can a shortcut to success. There's no such a shortcut to success. Enduring success is through hard work. It's through resilience. It's through investing in yourself. I've talked to some youths who, I was talking to them about education. I said, education is a scam. I mean, a scam. Going to university is a scam. I don't want to go to university. I want to just make money. I said, how do you make money? Oh, you can press some buttons and the money will come. I said, but that is criminal. So you can go to jail. And so others that have done it have not gone to jail. They are walking the streets. So we have a responsibility to actually steer our youth to the right direction. There's need to do, for value reorientation. And this has to start from even the primary school. Because even when you engage pupils in the primary school, you'll be amazed what they tell you, what they see. So there's a lot of work that we need to do to reorientate them so that they can begin to imbibe, the values of hard work, the values of integrity, that they have to do the right thing for the right reasons, that there's no shortcut to success.
Hmm. Very, very brilliant submission. You said it that the society failed the youth, but at the same time, youth are not supposed to fail themselves, because no shortcut to making wealth, but it's through investment, through hard work, and through good value and discipline. And you just suggested to us that we need to start having value reorientation, even right from the primary school, to possibly even from home, so that we can have the best of it. As we custom, sir, as we custom, I just want you to state in specific that must have leadership skill or knowledge that professional or chartered accountant must equip themselves with to succeed as leader in their personal lives or in their professional lives as leader. The specific that must happen as we custom for the program for today.
I think the motto of our institute says it all: accuracy and integrity. So,
Integrity.
as chartered accountants, we must hold on to that very, very strongly. Honesty, integrity in all we do, and we should recognize that it's not just for our own sake; it's for the sake of the entire professionals, for the entire members. Because they say, when one finger touches oil, it stains the rest. So when one chartered accountant commits something on, that when does something that is wrong, it tests on the entire profession. So every chartered accountant carries that huge responsibility on his shoulder. So every member of the institute should recognize that as chartered accountants, we need to do the right thing for the right reasons at all times. We need to live, we need to do our work with the highest level of integrity. I think that is very, very important. We should also know that the certificate that you have, the ICAN certificate, is a gold standard certificate. But having said that, you cannot think that is it. There's nothing more to add. It all ends there. I'm a chartered accountant. I have nothing else to do. You must continuously learn. They say the illiterate of today is not that who cannot read or write. It's that person who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So we must continue to develop ourselves. We must take leadership courses. We must, invest in yourself, develop yourself, so that you can have a competitive edge, you know, in terms of opportunities. When the opportunity come, as they say, opportunity is when what they call it success. Is it success is when opportunity means preparedness or something. So
Yeah,
if you are not ready, the opportunity will come and then pass you by.
it will
So know
pass.
that you must continue to learn. You must continue to relearn. You must unlearn the wrong things and relearn the new things. You must learn to be innovative in your thinking. You must work against orthodoxies. This is the way we have been doing it. No, no, no. You
Hmm.
must find new ways of improving your performance. And
Hmm.
and again, it comes back to, again, you must not forget the character bits. You must make sure that you have strong character, courage to stand up, courage to say no to something that is not right, even at the cost of your taking. I mean, even at the cost of your livelihood. You must understand that your livelihood in that organization is not your career as a chartered accountant is much more than your livelihood in that organization, and that your life does not begin and end with that organization.
Very brilliant way to bring the episode of today to a close. And I've been guesting Mr. Henry Ebeki, FCA, who has been giving us insight into leadership and nugget. And I can tell you for free, you close the session in a very brilliant manner, telling us as professional accountant, as chartered accountant, to be to take the watchword of integrity, accuracy, honesty, continuous learning, unlearn, and relearn all the time. Work with good discipline and value driven. I sincerely want to appreciate you for making our time here with us. on ICAN on air. And one thing I'm very sure of, when next we call on you, at least to come and share some of the experience, while you're going, considering the success you achieved at EY, you will not hesitate even to share your experience with us. Once again, I want to appreciate you, Dr. Henry Becky, FCA, and all our viewers today. One thing I can assure you is that we will always bring back our guests to deliver more and more and more for us. Thank you very much. On this note, before I wind up and round up today, I have a few announcements for us as we bring to a close the edition for today. The 21st World Congress for Accountants is coming up November 18th to 21st at the Geo World Convention Center in India. Preparation is on, and I want you to visit our website to have contact of the people that are putting this together. The world expects us as a country and the profession. ICAN it plays a very strategic role, even in the body of chartered accountant worldwide. So we want to encourage you, prepare and be part of the World Congress for Accountant holding in India. And also on the local content, the 52nd Annual Accountant Conference is just by the door. He's already knocking. And registration has started. The conference will be coming up October 10 to 14 at the International Conference Center and Sheraton Hotel in Abuja. The topic is, the theme of the conference for this year is Nigeria adopting sustainability for economic prosperity. The fee are already out for those that will be there physically. It's 130, exclusive of meal and everything. Those that will connect virtually 75,000. And for the young accountant, which there are terms and conditions for you to qualify for that. Let me state that again. There are terms and conditions to qualify for being a young accountant, and their rate is 60,000. That's to say you must be 35 years and below, and your membership number must range between 39,669 to 56,000 that we currently are. Registration is strictly online, and like I said, that the registration has commenced. The 58th president will be very happy. He's prepared to welcome you at the International Conference Center and Sheraton Hotel in Abuja. And the chairman of the committee also is well guarded to welcome you in Abuja. On this note, I will be cutting the show today to see you again next week, Tuesday, when I'll bring again another incisive topic that will be beneficiary to all. I remain your host, Olusegun Okunade, FCA. See you next week, Tuesday. Bye for now.